Hello there, Jolly Kids! Teacher Soul here. I hope you're feeling good today because I am going to take you to the world of English 4. Let's check what do we have for today. Oh, I think our lesson's gonna be fun because you will learn how to write a fiction and non-fiction story with its complete elements. Do you want to learn this skill? Nice! Let's start! As our starter, let us play this review game on fiction and non-fiction. You have already learned from our previous lesson that a text is fiction when it refers to work of imagination and it is impossible to happen, just like fairy tales, folk tales, fables, and other literary works. While it is classified as non-fiction when it tells of factual events that are likely to happen in reality. So now, I am going to give you summary and excerpts of stories or narratives, and you will classify it if it is fiction or non-fiction. If your answer is fiction, you will imitate the sound of a cackling witch, just like this sound. While if your answer is non-fiction, you will answer yes with 2 thumbs up. After 5 seconds, the correct answer will be flashed on your screen so that you can check if you got it right. Is it clear? Okay then, here's story number 1. Juan Tamad. Juan's mother asked him to buy some crabs in the market. Instead of bringing home the crabs, he asked him to go home ahead of him. What kind of genre is this story? Fiction or non-fiction? The answer is fiction because it depicts events that are unlikely to happen in reality. The story used humor for fun reading. It teaches the importance of being smart and diligent and to obey one's parents so that you will not be scolded just like what happened to Juan. Now, let's proceed to story number 2. On April 27, 1521, Lapu-Lapu and his constituents repelled an invading force of 49 Spaniards led by Ferdinand Magellan, who was killed in the historic event which became known as the Battle of Mactan. How do you classify this text? Fiction or non-fiction? The answer is non-fiction. The text tells of a factual events that really took place in our Philippine history when the Spaniards landed in Mactan, Cebu, and that was exactly 500 years ago. Would you imagine that? This historic event reminds us to honor the courage and bravery of those Filipinos because they are our heroes for unfearlessly offering their lives for the love of the Philippines. It's worth admiring, isn't it? Now, let's check out number 3. Our story number 3 is Ibong Adarna. The story centers about catching the mythical bird that possesses magical powers. The Adarna bird is so beautiful and could change in a lot of stunning forms. It is very much hard to catch. It knows a total of 7 songs which could either enchant anyone to sleep or turn into stone, or it could even heal a deadly sickness. What kind of story does it tell? Fiction or non-fiction? The answer is fiction. Because the Adarna bird is an imaginary character which does not really exist in reality. It teaches one love for animals. Now, let's move on to number 4. Check this out. Hachiko was a Japanese Akita dog remembered for his remarkable loyalty to his owner, for whom he continued to wait at Shibuya train station every day for over 9 years after his owner died. How do you classify this text? Fiction or non-fiction? The answer is non-fiction, because it features real characters and events that existed in Japan. It's unbelievable, right? But Hachiko really existed, and this story was even made into a movie that has touched the viewers because of the dog's loyalty to his owner. Here's an excerpt of another touching story entitled Love You Forever. Here's how the story goes. A mother held her new baby, and very slowly she rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Well, that mother, to cut the story short, she got older. She got older and older and older. One day, she called up her son and said, You'd better come see me because I'm very old and sick. So, her son came to see her. When he came in the door, she tried to sing the song. She sang, I love you forever. I like you for always. But she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. The son went to his mother. He picked her up and rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he sang this song. I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my mommy you'll be. What kind of genre does this story tell? Is it fiction or non-fiction? The answer is non-fiction, because it reflects characters and events that are likely to happen in reality. It also teaches the value of being grateful to our mothers, and it teaches how great a mother's love for her son is. From the 5 items given, how many points did you earn? If you got 5, I'm going to give you this clap. Perfect! You're now set to our next activity on story weaving. I will present scrambled sentences containing the elements of the story. You will reassemble the sentences in order to come up with a sensible story. Are you ready? All right, here are the details. The title of the story is The Lion and the Mouse. For beginning, there are 2 events given. You have to analyze which event do you think should come first and which event followed after it. These are the events that happened at the beginning of the story. First, the lion was angry that the mouse disturbed its sleep and was about to kill it with its paw. Another event. A lion was fast asleep in the jungle when a mouse started running all over him. Here are the events that happened in the middle part of the story. The lion laughed at that thought and walked away. Another, the mouse begged the lion to pardon it, saying it could be of help to it one day. While for the ending, there are 3 events. First, soon after that, the lion was trapped in a hunter's net. It immediately tore the net with its sharp teeth and rescued the lion. The little mouse was passing by and saw the lion. Did you figure out the logical sequence of the events in the story? Here's how the story should go. The lion and the mouse. A lion was fast asleep in the jungle when a mouse started running all over him. The lion was angry that the mouse disturbed its sleep and was about to kill it with its paw. The mouse begged the lion to pardon it, saying it could be of help to it one day. The lion laughed at that thought and walked away. Soon after that, the lion was trapped in a hunter's net. The little mouse was passing by and saw the lion. It immediately tore the net with sharp teeth and rescued the lion. Do you have the same answer? What is the genre of this story? What made you say so? Well, definitely, you're right. It's a fiction because the story is a fable which contains talking animals as the main characters. Obviously, we don't expect animals to speak in reality. It's only in stories that talking animals exist. Another question, who are the characters in the story? Again, you got it right. It's the lion and the mouse. Where is the setting? Correct. The story took place in the jungle. You have noticed that the events in the story were presented in 3 parts: the beginning, middle, and ending. What details are presented in the beginning? That's right. Notice that the first paragraph of the story introduced the characters, the lion and the mouse. It also presented the setting where the story took place in a jungle. Another detail presented is the problem, where the lion got angry and is about to kill the mouse for disturbing its sleep. Now, let's take a look at the middle part of the story. What details are presented? That's right. It presented actions of the characters to solve the problem. How about the ending part of the story? What details were presented? That's correct. In the ending part of the story, it showed how the problem is resolved and tells the outcome once the problem is settled. I guess you're now interested in short stories. Do you want to write one? If so, be a story writer. Let's learn how it is written. Here are the key points to observe when writing a short story. First, you need to create an idea on what the story will tell about. You decide if you want it to be in fiction or in non-fiction. So if you want it to be in fiction, your story will be based on imaginary characters and setting and unbelievable events like fantasy or fairy tales. If you want it to be in non-fiction, you present your story using real-life characters, settings, and events. Another point to remember, decide on your setting. You should describe the place and time where the story will take place. Number 3, set the characters. You should also describe who the characters are, including their looks, their abilities, and their other qualities. Next, you develop the plot or series of events in sequential order. Provide 2 or 3 sentences for beginning, middle, and ending. And then finally, after coming up with a story using the elements mentioned in numbers 1 to 4, you can now create a title that best suits your story. If you follow these 5 steps, voila! You will come up with a short story. Do you want to try it? Let's put it into practice through this dice game. Let's play. To play this game, a virtual die will be rolled on your screen. For each core of a die, details of a story will be given for you to complete. Once the details are completed, you will write it in a story format. Now let me show you how it is being played. Let's roll the first die so that we can roll the first story. Okay, so for the first die of 3, here are the details that I'm going to use. The genre would be non-fiction. The characters are Roy, his family, and friends. The setting is one summertime at the beach. The problem that I'm going to use for this story is he left his tablet at home. In the beginning, these are the events. One summertime, Roy's family went to the beach. His mother prepared his favorite food. So I have given 2 sentences for the beginning. And then for the middle events, these are the events that happened. First, everybody on the beach enjoyed swimming. Another, his family was having fun except for Roy. And he was sad because he left his tablet at home. And for the ending, here are the details. First, later on, a group who were also swimming asked him to join. Another, he was glad because he did. And he found new friends at the beach. Now, let us use these details so that we can form a short story. Let's take a look how it's going to be once the details are completed and rearranged in a logical order. Here's now how our story goes. One summertime, Roy's family went to the beach. His mother prepared his favorite food. Everybody on the beach enjoyed swimming. His family was having fun except for Roy. He was sad because he left his tablet at home. Later on, a group of children who were also swimming asked him to join them. He was glad because he did. He found new friends at the beach. So upon looking at the events in the story, perhaps I could give this a title. And the title that I have chosen is Fun at the Beach. Have you already learned how to write a short story? Then, it's your turn. For the second die, here is your story. The genre would be fiction. And the character is a brave prince. The setting will be in a magical forest. The problem is he got chased by blank. So it's up to you to provide based on your imagination. For the beginning, you need to provide sentences or events. And then for the middle and ending. So you complete now the missing details so that you can form the story. Try to practice another story. The genre is non-fiction. Your character would be Clara. And the setting is in the garden. The problem of Clara is her plants started to wilt. Now, how do you want the story to go? So you need to provide events for the beginning, middle, and ending. Now try to complete your story. Let's wrap up the key concepts of today's lesson. Have you learned something today? Remember these, kids. In writing a short story, you need elements, which include the characters, settings, and events. The events should be written in logical or sequential order, which may happen in the beginning, middle, and ending. In the beginning part of the story, the characters, settings, and problem may be presented. The middle part presents action of the characters to solve the problem. And for the ending, it tells of events that would resolve the problem. You may be asking, why do you need to learn how to write a short story? Well, story writing is a form of expression. Through this, you can create text as a product of your imagination. Thus, it develops your mind to think creatively. Now that you're already familiar with the elements of the story and its structure, it's time to put your learning into test. You are going to write a fiction and non-fiction story using the elements based on the pictures. You will be guided on the details that will be presented in the beginning, middle, and ending through the guide questions that I will be giving. You write your story using this format. For the first story, here's the picture. Here are the details that you should present by answering these questions. For the beginning, you may answer these details. Who are shown in the picture? Why is the girl inside the jar? Is she happy? Why is the cat talking to the girl? And for the middle part, you may write about this detail. Will the cat help the girl? How? What will they do? And for the ending, you may write about this detail. What will happen to the girl? What will happen to the cat? How will their lives will be? For the second story that you will be writing, here's the second picture. For the beginning, you may tell the details about where did the picture take place? What happened to the robot? Is the man building it or repairing it? How does he feel about it? Is this one special? For the middle, you may write about what will the man do? Will he find his task easy or difficult? How long will he finish his task? And for the ending, you may write about, will the man become successful at his task? How will the robot look like after? How will the man feel? For your homework, here's your task. Do you want to be a superhero and change the world? Do you want to be someone who possesses magic, or just be someone you dream to be? Craft a story about you as the main character in your own non-fiction or fictional adventure. Structure your story using the story elements that you have learned in today's lesson. I hope you enjoy your own adventure in writing a story. Thank you for joining me in today's wonderful journey in story writing. I hope you gained valuable lessons that you can surely use. Like if you get bored at home because you've got nothing to do and you can't go out, why don't you try to imagine wonderful stories and create your own world in fiction and non-fiction stories. Once again, this is Teacher Soul, now signing off. Keep safe everyone. Bye-bye.